Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and I have a month in review for you today for the month of April 2026. I'm so excited to talk about this month. It was a good one. I had one finish and a couple of whips to show you, and then at the end I will talk about my reading updates for the month. So first, let's talk about my finish. That was Maleficent's Curse by Disney from Diamond Art Club. And I've been working on this kit for 4 months. I started it on January 3rd and I finished it on April 29th. This is 101.8 by 69.9 centimeters. It's a square kit. And as you can see, it's a Sleeping Beauty scene. It's got Maleficent in both her dragon form and her fairy form. It's got the castle in the background. It has our Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip fighting the dragon. It's just such an epic kit, and it was so much fun to work on. I enjoyed every second of it, even though it did take me quite a while. I'm a multi-whipper, so I never was just focusing on it by itself, or I'm sure it would have gone a lot quicker than it did. But yeah, I absolutely love how it turned out. There are a few crystals in the rose on her chest, and I think it just looks so pretty. What a nice touch. And then over by the dragon, there's a ton of ABs and fairy dust in the flames. And it's just such a fun kit to work on. I did, over by the dragon area, I did have a hard time a little bit with some of the browns and blacks, just because I don't prefer diamond painting darker colors, so I'm glad it had a lot of like yellows and greens to kind of break that up, because the browns and blacks and dark greens were a little bit tiresome. That was a pretty large area with those in it. But overall, it was such a pleasure to work on, and I'm so excited it's done. And once it was done, I did spin my next Year of Disney kit to do, and that is Desert Date, and that one's just a really cute cityscape with Mickey and Minnie walking in front of some desert type buildings, and it's around and it's pretty small, and I kitted that up today, so it's going to be so much fun. So that's a whip that's starting in May. As for the other whips that I'm bringing into May, we have Chocolate Dream. This is by Miss Holly, and it's a square too, and it is 65 by 91.8 centimeters. I started it on February 13th, and I got a bit done on it this month. I haven't been working on it as much as the other ones because it is weighted less heavy on my whip wheel, because I'm not in a hurry to get it done. I'm just enjoying every bit of it that I get to work on. I love diamond painting food, and this one just has some really tasty looking treats, and it's such a fun kit to work on. So I'm enjoying when I do spin it, but I don't spin it as much as the rest of the other kits. The other one that I'm working on for May is Izzy the Beekeeper Witch, and I started this one on March 31st, so right before the end of the month of March, and I got a lot of it done in April. I was spinning it quite a bit, even though it was weighted. I had weighted Maleficent's Curse the heaviest at it was worth 3, and then Izzy is worth 2, and Chocolate Dream was worth 1. But I spun quite a bit of Izzy this month. So as you can see, a lot of it got done this month. I will definitely be finishing her up in the month of May. She is around, and she is the oldest kit in my stash, the one that I purchased the longest ago, and I'm having a blast working on her. She's very springy to me, and it just felt really like it was the right time to work on her, so I'm really enjoying that. So that is it for my whips for diamond painting. And then as far as my purchases go, I did make one purchase in the month of April, and that was Pixie Parasol by Mrs. Butter D. Mrs. Butter D is my favorite artist at DAC, and I just could not resist this one. She's so much fun. So she came home to me, and that was the only purchase I let myself make in April. So we'll see how I do in May. But I have been having to spend money on things other than diamond painting recently, so I've had to be a little bit more stingy with my diamond painting budget. So I've been doing pretty good. However, I did make a purchase today. But we'll talk about that in May's month in review. Okay, so that's it for my diamond painting updates. If you want to hear about what I got up to as far as reading goes in April, stick around. Otherwise, thank you so much for catching up with me this month, and I will catch you in my next video. All right, let's talk about books, shall we? I read 5 books in April, which is seeming to be about the number I'm getting read every month. So I guess that's about average. The first one I read was Eye of the Bedlam Bride. It's a Dungeon Crawler Carl book. It's book 6. I loved it. You guys know, if you've been around for a while, that I am deep into my love of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I was kind of trying to extend the books out until the next one is released, and it's being released this month. So I'm doing perfectly, actually. I'm about to finish that one, but I haven't finished it yet. So that's book 7. The one that I finished was book 6. And it's just, I can't talk about too much of it without spoilers, but it continues to ramp up how much these books are about the big picture and not about the minute-to-minute action. I mean, there's minute-to-minute action in there too, but the big picture is what's really driving the story. And I'm very curious to see what happens in the rest of the books. I mean, just in what I've read of book 7 so far, things are really interesting right now. So, oh man. I just have so much respect for the author, Matt Dinniman, because he is what's called a pantser, which means he writes by the seat of his pants. He doesn't plan anything out. And he has a Patreon, which I just joined. And part of that Patreon is that you can, as a patron, you can vote for certain things that happen in the book, and he just has to run with whatever wins and get it into the book. And I think it's amazing what he does with that. I think it's pretty awesome to have such fan input in the writing of these books and still have them turn out as if this was all planned from the beginning. I'm impressed. So anyway, that was Eye of the Bedlam Bride. I gave it 5 stars. And then after that, I finished up the book club book that I was reading with my eldest 2 kids and my friend Jessica. And we read Days at the Murasaki Bookshop. Oh, let me see if I can get this author's name pronounced correctly. Satoshi Yagasawa. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. That was a really cute kind of slice of life, really short book. And it was about a young woman who got out of a bad relationship, and her uncle invites her to live with him in his little bookshop and help him out with, you know, running the bookshop while she kind of gets back on her feet. And the whole first half is kind of about that. And then the second half takes a turn and is about kind of a whole different thing, which I didn't expect. But I gave that one, I don't think I rated it. No, I didn't rate that one because it's such a different style of book than I typically read. And so I didn't want to give it a rating because I feel like the people who normally read that book style might rate it differently than I do. So my rating would kind of skew the results, if that makes sense. So yeah, as far as enjoyment goes, I'd probably give it about a 3. It didn't have too many stakes at all, which I prefer a book that has a bit of stakes. And also, I think it had some translation issues because it was translated from Japanese, and some of the phrasing and verbiage was really awkward and just seemed like things people wouldn't say. And I'm wondering if that was a partially a culture issue and maybe partially a translation issue. But yeah, it was a cute little book. I had fun reading it with the kids and Jessica and finished that one next. After that, I finished A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green. And this is the second book in his Carl's series. In the first one, a bunch of what looks like robots lands in the middle of different cities around the world, and the metal is like nothing humans have ever seen before, and we don't know what it is. And a lot of that first book is about trying to figure out what these things are, and a lot of it has to do with social media, surprisingly, and the different things that being suddenly famous can do to somebody's psyche. And then the second one is kind of about, I'm trying to talk about it without giving away what happens in the first one, but the second one is also about public perception and how that can be used as a tool on both sides, which I thought was really interesting. So I won't say too much about the plot, but it was really good, and I very much enjoyed it. I gave that one 5 stars. The first one I thought was great, and I can't remember. I think I might have given it 4 stars because I was waiting for something at the end. There was something that I really wanted to see happen, and it didn't happen in the first book, and then it finally was explained in the second book. So that's why I gave the second one 5 stars, because it told me everything that I wanted to know finally, and I got to have those moments that I was hoping for. So yes, very, very good. Also, if you have read Ready Player 2, that was a very disappointing book for me because I feel like it missed a huge opportunity to talk about this new technology that had been developed by James Halliday, which was kind of like a brain scanning technology. And also you can wear this technology and go do something like go surfing or whatever. And other people could then download basically that file of you doing that and experience it as if it was them learning or doing that thing. And this book also has some of that going on. And I think this book did it a lot better than Ready Player 2 did. Like some of the things I had wished Ready Player 2 talked about, this book talked about. So that was kind of vindicating. I liked it a lot. The third book I read in April was A Stage Set for Villains by Shannon J. Spann. I was conflicted about this one at first because the main character was driving me a little bit nuts. I talked about this a bit in my vlogs and stuff, so if you've watched those, I won't rehash everything I said, but basically for the first 3/4 of the book, the main character annoyed me a lot, and then towards the end it got a lot better, and I was able to enjoy the ending, and I liked the end a lot more. I do wish it had been a little bit longer to be able to go over some of the lore and history and explain some of the things that weren't explained. So, and this is probably just my bias, a lot of people read long books and are like, oh, they could have cut so much out and it would have been so much shorter and easier to digest. Whereas I'm over here like, can we make this longer and explain things a little bit more? Because I feel like a lot was left out. Anyway, I gave that one 4 stars because it was still really enjoyable, and I loved the kind of, magic that was involved, and the way the world was set up. The world building was really cool. So yeah, I would recommend that one. It's really good. And then that was the 4th book I read. Whoops, I miscounted. That was number 4. And then the 5th book I read was The Institute by Stephen King. I read this for Natalie and Michaela's book club this month. And it's weird. With Stephen King, I am usually either absolutely loving the book, like I'm so into it, or I can't finish it. However, in this case, for the very first time reading a Stephen King book, it was just kind of meh to me. I felt like he was kind of phoning it in. There was nothing really groundbreaking or new or special about this story, in my opinion. I loved the characterization. I didn't love some of the events that happened because they were all pretty much triggers for me, but I was able to read the whole thing and do fine, which has been the case lately for some reason. My triggers aren't affecting me as much as they used to. It was just kind of meh to me. So I gave it 3.5 stars. I think I rounded up to 4 on Goodreads because people who can write books have all my respect. So if I'm going to round either up or down, it's going to be up. But yeah, it was about a solid 3.5 star for me. And that was pretty much like when I went to the book club, that was pretty much everyone else's opinion too, is it just kind of eh. So a little bit disappointing because I was hoping to really love it because I often love Stephen King books, but at least it wasn't the other way where I couldn't finish it. So that is all the books that I read in April. I am currently reading book 7 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is This Inevitable Ruin, and the 8th one comes out May 12th, so hopefully I'll have it finished before then. The 7th one, I mean. And I am in the middle of The Spear Cuts Through Water, which is my current book club book with Sam and Fletcher and Jess. I've made it to the first checkpoint, and so has Fletcher, but Sam and Jessica are still working on the first part, so we can't move forward until everybody's at the first checkpoint. And then the other one I'm in the middle of is Guards by Terry Pratchett. I'm over 60% of the way through it now. I have it on ebook, and I've just been kind of reading it at night before bed whenever I am awake enough to do so. So it's been kind of slow progress, but I've been enjoying it more and more the more I read, kind of getting into his tone and the way he writes. It's not my favorite style of writing, but I know that these books are so beloved. So I'm looking forward to getting into more of them and seeing if maybe I start to come around and really just get into them and start to love them like everyone else does. So yeah, that's my progress on all those things. I think that's everything that I am currently reading. Let me double check. Oh, I almost forgot my traveling book. I am about 36% of the way through This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Ilona Andrews, and it's a book that I'm annotating that I'm then going to pass on to a family member. All 4 of us are doing this, and then we're going to like pass the books around in a big circle and everyone's going to annotate them. But everyone's just kind of at the beginning of this process, so I'm not hurrying my way through that one. I didn't get a lot done on it in April. I got some done, but yeah, it's going to be a long time work in progress read for me. It's also my first time annotating, so I'm just kind of doing my best. But yeah, that is everything I read in the month of April. Thank you so much if you stuck around all the way to the end to hear me talk about books. I appreciate you. And that's all I have for April's month in review. I will DAC you all in my next video. Bye guys.